As you probably guessed, I'm not Susan McGregor. My name is Raymond Buck from Hopscotch Theatre Company. I've got a big fancy presentation. You just have to look at that, look at my ugly mug. It's your choice. Hopscotch has been going for about 25 years, over 25 years. Suki wrote, Suki's over there, Susan McGregor. She wrote over 25 years and put in brackets 26, in case you didn't know what over 25 was. We're going for 25 years. Last June we reached our millionth audience member. We've been touring about these primary schools. We've got hundreds and hundreds of kids see the shows every day. So last June was the millionth audience member we got. So we've been getting the message across. It's a TIE company, which is Theatre and Education. And we're all the writers and directors are based in Scotland. As I said, the company's based in Govan. When we started up, we were doing a lot of Scottish history shows because there wasn't a lot of Scottish history in the schools. Doing shows about William Wallace and Robert the Bruce and things. Obviously last year was the anniversary of Bannockburn, but it was a political hot potato, so we couldn't actually mention history last year. So we had to do other things. We did the Commonwealth Games instead, which is more acceptable. At the moment, the company's out on tour with Burns' Last Supper, which is in touch with the Scottish theme again, and we've got a play called Pink the Musical, which is about a wee penguin which turns pink and gets bullied out of the land of the penguins. And it's about accepting people who are slightly different within culture, and that's for the very low years, primary schools, P1s to P3s I think it is. Just so it's like a real sort of juvenile show. Myself, I've worked for Hopscotch. I worked for about 10 years as an actor in the 1990s, and after about 2000 I stuck to writing. I've written about 25 I think. More than that. Well, I can't remember them all, there's so many. And the McDonald's of playwrights in Scotland, they just churn them out. But, so I've written a lot of shows. We've done recently, since we moved away from too much Scottish history in the curriculum, we've done a lot of shows with sort of green themes. We did the one we're doing at present. We're doing What a Load of Rubbish, which will go out on tour in March or April. That was on about 7 years ago, just when that was quite new to the curriculum really at the time, and it was all about getting the kids to recycling things in school, but quickly it was overtaken, so now it's about just showing them the journey of waste, which has been quite helpful today to see all the kind of things that happen with waste and how you're dealing with food waste in schools and things like that as well. So it's given us new ideas. So we're updating the show, we're sort of recycling the whole show and bringing it up to date. Obviously in a few years schools have moved on and the kids know what they're talking about now as well. So obviously Hopscotch get into the schools and bringing theatre very, very close to the kids. We try to, when possible, we try and do the shows in the round, so we're right in the middle of the school hall, and the kids are very, very close to the actors in, rather than doing it on a stage. There's a great distance from it, so they can actually see us doing stuff very, very close to them. It helps them as well. It's good for the kids to see theatre so close. It's also better, we do a few pantos every year as well, and it's better than busing all the kids into the King's Theatre or something and paying for buses and polluting the planet as well. We'll have fumes from the buses if you just give a few actors and a wee van with a bit of scenery, bring them in, and you've got a good professional panto inside the school in close proximity to the kids, and they can enjoy it a bit more, and they can see a good professional show. It's quite cheap for the school compared to buying tickets for one of these larger theatres in the city, and it's obviously better for the planet as well. We do 3 productions a year and 2 pantomimes every year. The next one in autumn is about rights and responsibilities. Obviously these things are sort of themes that go through all these. Rights and responsibilities could be about any show. If you did Jack and the Beanstalk, it's about rights and responsibilities too. But we sometimes pick things out of the curriculum and we'll focus on that. And so we're sort of developing a show at the moment which will be about rights and responsibilities, and that'll go out in autumn. Anything else? And I that's about all I've got to say for about Hopscotch. One wee thing, I've talked about, obviously I'm a bit older, when I was at school, there was no such a thing as recycling in the schools at all. I remember there was a big flood, and the music department was all flooded, and they had these big skips out the back, and you just threw all these jotters and things like that into the skips. And I went into school one day and I forgot my jotter, and I was like, no. So I seen all these jotters and skips, so I got a jotter at the skip, and I was like, let's go take that into class, and it means I wouldn't get the belt. So I took the jotter into class, and my pal was like, where did you get that? I said, I got it in a skip at the back of the music department. He said, I'm going to get one for this afternoon. He didn't have his jotter for the afternoon, so he went and got one as well. And then I was like, we could sell them, because if he's obviously getting his jotters. So the next day, we had these boxes of jotters. We're standing at the front door selling them all and things like that. And one of the house heads saw us doing it and grabbed us, and we got 6 of the belt each. And I was just thinking today that if you did that now in school, you'd probably get a gold medal for recycling and for entrepreneurialism. But that's how things have changed. Anyway, any questions about Hopscotch? No.
Do you visit schools throughout the country, or?
Yes, all over Scotland, yeah. All over, I think we visited Ireland once or twice as well. Yeah, all over Scotland. It's amazing, we've got some great gigs. I remember when I was working as an actor and Suki phoned up. And it's quite hard work doing Hopscotch. You do a school in the morning, a school in the afternoon. So you do 10 performances every week, setting the scenery up and taking it down, putting it in the van, driving to the next school. So it's quite hard work. We're all looking forward to Saturday off, and Susan was dead keen starting this new job at Hopscotch. She goes, I've got you a great gig in Aberfoyle on Saturday in a sheep pen. So I actually had to perform the sheep pen. The sheep were in the wee bits beside of us in Aberfoyle. So a bit upsetting for the sheep, but it was good fun. But,
so did the schools pay for you, or do you?
yeah, the schools, Hopscotch is a charity. It's unfunded. It's unfunded.
Okay.
Very rarely get funded. I think we get occasionally get wee bits and bobs of funding, but not much. We've got a wee bit of funding for the schools, but obviously we do educational packs with every show. What a load of rubbish. There's the Ernest Cook Trust have funded the education pack that goes along with the show, and obviously resources go out with each show, and there's resources available online and things like that, and similar to the earlier presentation, there's songs available online for the kids to learn. So if the shows come to the school, the kids can learn the song before they arrive, you know. Sometimes a bit too much because you hear them singing it too much, you know.
So is it quite interactive? Is it meant to be?
Yeah, we try and make it as interactive as we can. You know, it's good. Obviously, because we're trying to tell a story as well. As soon as you start bringing the kids up on stage, it breaks the story a wee bit. You know, so it's okay in the pantomime, but sometimes you want to keep the story going. But it's nice, especially when you're trying to explain something about the age of the planet or something. You get a big bit of string, get some kids up in dinosaur models and things. If you do that kind of thing, it's quite good. But we try to use the kids as much as possible. And it's great if they get the song words and they've got an online copy of the song, they can learn the song before they all start as well.
And do you generally present to like the whole school? You'll get them all on assembly and kind of do a show for the whole school, or certain classes?
Yeah, usually do. Yeah, usually you stick the primary 3s at the front and then the primary 1s behind them, because they get a bit frightened because the actors can be a bit smelly after a while. But the actors can be a bit intimidating for them. So we set them all as much as possible, as close as we can, and the P7s at the back. But it's one of the things when you're writing the show, it's got to be quite colourful and entertaining for the kids, because the P1s might not understand what the story's about, really. If you're doing something about rights and responsibilities, for instance, and some P1s will come to see that, so you need to make it visually quite interesting as well. So the movement's got to be very interesting, so they can follow the story, know who's a good guy and a bad guy. They don't necessarily know what's going on that much, but they know that who's a good guy and a bad guy. But then the P7s will get this slightly tongue-in-cheek jokes, and then they'll get jokes in there for the teachers too. It's important that teachers enjoy it as well, so they get a good report back to the staff room, and then they ask the company back. So it's got to be enjoyed in so many different levels. So you're not just writing for one sort of segment of the school, you're writing for a lot of different levels of the school. Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sorry,
Thank
oh, and sorry, there's leaflets for the what a load of rubbish on the table. We're not doing a big sale or anything, but it's a lovely picture. Thank you.